Games.
Hi everyone, welcome to BFVG. This is our first ever podcast. Congratulations,
You may be
everyone!
able to tell.
Yay!
Yay.
May be able to tell with the very, very poorly introduced BFVG introduction.
We'll get better. We'll get better. It's fine.
Yeah. All right. So this is the first podcast, and it's going to be about the game, the Cookie Clicker game, which is an online browser
Phenomenal.
game phenomenon, and it has transformed BFVG into two camps at the moment. It is the biggest talking point of our last 2 weeks now. It's been pretty crazy. I've even made my first ever little blog on that as well, if you go onto the website. So basically,
Nice
the game.
plug, Yogs. Good plug.
Thank you very much. Thank you. BFVG.co.uk. All right.
Yeah!
Cross promotion.
Yes,
To
we're
get
on
the
this.
gold. To get the gold. YouTube gold, right? That's the
So
aim.
basically, we get our mums to read our blogs.
Yeah.
Have we got a YouTube channel as well, Yogs?
Oh yeah, we have.
Yeah, I
haven't
think
we?
we've got a YouTube
Oh,
channel as well.
wow. It's just, apparently, if you just search BestFriendsVG
Yeah.
within
Yeah.
Not
YouTube,
VD.
Not VD.
Not VD. That's fine.
Thing you'll be getting.
But it, yeah. But that's the promotion. Yes.
Good one,
We'll be on there. Hopefully, I think the podcast will be on the YouTube as well eventually.
Oh, wow.
Eventually.
So it should be good fun. All right, nice. So, okay, the game is simple. If you go on to Google search, have a quick search Cookie Clicker. There's a game by, I don't know, is it Ortail?
Hey,
Ortail. It's some French company. The French guy made this simple game called the Cookie Clicker, where I'm literally playing it right now. Actually, it's quite sad, but
we can hear it.
Clicking like that.
I've done something which I'll have to tell you guys later. But anyway, basically, there's a picture of a cookie, and to produce cookies on the computer, you click on the cookie, and you keep clicking on the cookie to produce more
Totally like a
cookies.
tongue twister.
Yeah, it's crazy. Keep the cookie clicking clicker game. But then so you've got you start off, you just keep clicking the cookie and keep producing cookies, but then you've also got these kind of little upgrades on the side, so you could then purchase things like cursors which help you click for you every 10 seconds, 0. For an extra cookie. And then you've got an extra upgrades like the grandmas and farms. It's all on the wiki there. If you search Cookie Clicker wiki, there's a whole description explaining exactly everything, and it goes crazy. You start off, with a really simple cookies per second, which is you start off with maybe about about 1 or 2 a second, I guess, but then you can end up with billions, and literally billions of cookies per second, and it just goes out of control, and you get loads of different upgrades and all the rest. It just goes absolutely mad, and basically people have just been sitting here, just been letting it run all day, just to collect more cookies, just to get all these kind of achievements. It's a real good game if you like gaining all the achievements and all the rest. So have a go. If you've never heard it before, go on to Cookie Clicker game. It's amazing. But we're going to talk about this because it's created a lot of debate. We've got with ourselves here. My name's Yogesh or Yoglai. We've got Jess or Hairwire.
Hello.
You've got Arjun Arjibaji.
Hello.
And you've got Dean Fingers 333. The last
Word.
beast. Yes.
Word.
Yes.
I feel like we should have done a barbershop harmony there or something like that.
Right. So start off the game. What do you guys think? Go ahead.
Well, first of all, can I just say I am in the camp of this is possibly one of the greatest things ever to grace God's green earth. It's an amazing game, right? It is a truly amazing game. That's all that needs to be said.
I'm not in that camp.
Do
To
have
put it mildly.
a dissenter in our midst, but yes. Go on, Jess.
Well, at the end of the day, the game title sort of gives it away, really. You click a cookie. I just fail to understand how that's like got an element of gameplay. Do you know what I mean? I have to be honest, right? And obviously, when you wrote your blog, I hadn't played it, and you were like, all the naysays haven't played it, blah blah blah. And I tried it a little bit earlier today because I knew we were going to be talking about it, and I thought, okay, he's right. I shouldn't really be kind of going, oh, I'm going to poo-poo it, and I've not played it. So I played it a little bit, and I started, and I just don't like the idea of just sitting there mindlessly clicking something. And now I currently have it running, and the game is playing itself. I'm not playing it. That's my point. It's not a game anymore. It's just a program that's running on your computer.
Whereabouts are you now? So like,
I'm only considering you're so proud of your billions and billions of cookies. I'm on a very very meager 4,360 and counting cookies per second. Only 4.3. I have 3 grandmothers and a farm. And a couple of how many cursors? 7, 8 maybe.
Okay.
And that's pretty much all I care about. I don't really want to do it anymore.
No.
I have to be honest.
Brutally honest, if you don't mind me saying. Brutally.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, obviously, I lost my own boyfriend to this game for a couple of days as well. So
that got a bit dark, and then it got a bit better.
I lost him, but he came back.
Sorry.
It's fine.
Can I say that this boyfriend of yours is the one that actually introduced us to
you're
this
right,
game
actually.
at 2
I'll
in the
never
morning on a
ever
Saturday?
forgive him.
King of all cosmos, the introducer to this great game.
I believe I left in disgust.
It's actually it's detailed quite vividly in the blog.
I would say quite accurately, but I've had rival cases being thrown about.
Yes,
so
I have to say, I find your writing to be quite flamboyant, Yogs. If I have to say.
I'll take it. No, I think that's pretty much word for word, but.
No, that's my opinion on it anyway. I just think that a game that ends up just being a thing that runs on your computer and it can essentially just play itself, and you just kind of go, ooh, a farm, ooh, a factory. I'll tell you what this is like. It's like Smurfs Village. Did any of you? It sounds really excited, Arjun.
Sounds like something I need to try right now.
It was really big ages ago. Now, the reason I know about it is because I used to work in a pretty horrible job for a company I won't name because then there might actually be like sort of slander cases going on. But I used to work for a company, lots of downtime, didn't like the job very much. But we used to have iPads within the sphere of work, and so obviously to pass the time you just get like crappy games basically. One of these games was Smurf Village, and it's essentially the same, and you just set little Smurfs to do things for you, you just reap the benefits, and then you go, oh, I've got this now, because technically a computer did it for you.
See, that sounds like slavery, personally.
Well, this is exactly
sounds nothing like Cookie Clicker.
Okay, well, what about Cookie Clickers? What about the slave grandmas you've got?
Yeah, but actually, if you played the game till the end, if you've played the game till the end, right, which you clearly haven't. Oh well, there's an in-depth storyline. I think you're clearly unaware of.
Yeah, there is the one thing that we do actually that is apparent on the game, right? There is an actual, technically a kind of small storyline. So on the game, there are kind of updates at the top, which kind of just starts off giving you hints and tips, but then eventually kind of gives you kind of news, really kind of silly news outlets.
Oh, speaking of news, by the way, apparently all my cookies bring all the boys to the yard. Just so you know.
Okay, yes.
There you go.
Yes.
But carry on.
Exactly. There's like a little storyline with the grandmas, and you eventually kind of be able to transform them, and they get a bit out of control, I would say. Hence with the little picture of the grandmas I posted in the blog there. Just a little wink there. It was quite funny, but it gets quite advanced. It is more than just just a simple clicking game. There is kind of a bit of tactics to it. I think for myself, I've actually read quite a lot on how people have gone about doing this game in terms of like CPS or trying to get the most cookies as possible. It's quite advanced. There's a lot of talk. There's even a Reddit about it, which I don't know how big Reddit is, but I think that's quite advanced in terms of like popularity. But yeah, I don't think we've heard much from Arjun. What's your take on the game, Arj?
I started playing it with a great zeal, Great zeal.
It's a great
I'm going to talk about the macro on yours, mate. Go on.
Oh
I
yeah.
made a macro.
I set up a little
So outnumbered.
macro on my mouse that essentially just clicked and released the mouse button repeatedly on one of my spare buttons on the mouse, and so when you click on the cookie, it just repeats. When you hold down the mouse button, it will just quickly act as if it's like tapping
You
extremely quickly.
cheat.
Yeah.
You've got no shame about it, none of you.
Life isn't fair.
God.
But there is kind of cheating on this game as well. There's definitely people who've even
It's a
been
game
able
of tactics and cheating. Brilliant.
It's
Well,
like
any
fancy
game
to
that
fancy
uses
to
any game that uses JavaScript or Flash, you can like edit the code to essentially win the game for you.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I've lost a lot of I lost a lot of time initially, but now
Like
I'm
big, huge
slightly,
chunks of your life, perhaps.
I'm slightly starting to neutralize myself upon on my positive opinion of it.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Why would that be, Arjun? Come
Um,
over to the dark side,
Used to be
the non-cookie side.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of a guy called Ian Bogost?
No. Oh,
Unfortunately,
yes,
I have.
but no. Also.
He's an indie game maker, and he made something. It was essentially basically a way to insult Facebook games. You know,
Cow
similar to
Clicker.
what Smurfs. Yeah, Cow Clicker. That's it.
That's the
Cow
one, yes,
Clicker,
I do
yes,
know
Cow
who he is.
Clicker,
Yes,
yeah.
Cow
Cow
Clicker. I was
Clicker.
actually going to bring this up myself, but carry on.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not 100% sure on Cow Clicker, but I know that there's a lot of similarities. Except the one thing about Cow Clicker is that basically it was more of an insult on Facebook games and how they operated.
Well, he was taking real money from people as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you could only unlock
Wow.
the
Things costed
achievements by
money,
paying
yeah.
money, which I don't believe Cookie Clicker does.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
no,
I
there's no
think
microtransaction.
if Cow Clicker was made in a more democratic way, it would essentially be Cookie Clicker.
Ah. You
Okay.
see,
Is the way I see it.
I
But-
suppose that was one of the things
But
that did
the thing
taint
is
my
that
view.
Ian Bagost's thing is more insulting about the idea of being stopped to play something, no matter how mundane it is. But the fact that that it was a mundane task that was being blocked, it gave you the desire to want to break past that block to keep on playing.
Okay, I see.
Yes, I see.
But that doesn't mean. But that obviously kind of doesn't mean that Cookie Clicker is a bad thing.
But-
in that
but I
sense.
mean, but
It's
the thing,
actually
the thing
it's
is,
better than Cow Clicker.
you yourself have just said that, you know, if it was more diplomatic, it would be Cookie Clicker. So, and you've just used the word mundane and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, how really is it different?
I think you can gain a lot of joy from excelling on the mundane.
I don't know.
That's true.
Yeah,
Just-
it's well. The thing is, guess most people could look at it as a process, but people do a lot of have quite a lot of hobbies. I wouldn't say it's a big hobby, but it is something to do to pass the time.
I mean, some people like trains.
Yeah. Seeking.
So,
Seeking.
like-
Are we poking fun at Laurie there? Is that what we just
Yeah, he's
did?
not even here. It's not
You
fair.
may have heard, yeah.
Jeez.
He's always the butt of our jokes.
Sorry,
Anyway,
Laurie. But
yeah,
yeah, no. I carry on. Sorry.
so like the other thing I'd say is like doing like close to nothing in a game doesn't mean it's a bad thing. I mean, what's other games that allow you to do like almost as little as Cookie Clicker? You know, things like say Papers, Please. Has anyone played much Papers, Please here?
A lot of these games,
I
I've
know
heard
of
other
the
people
game, and I've
talking,
seen. I've
yeah.
actually saw it being
Yeah.
played today. So
So yeah, Papers, Please is you are given a set of rules from someone to say, okay, you cannot allow these people. You can allow these people into the country. You can't allow these people in. You have to check their passport. They have to have valid documents. You have to make sure they're all lined up with each other. You have to question if they're wrong, and choose to let them in or not. So like that's you're essentially doing admin.
Yeah.
And I think the idea of doing a mundane task, but the moment it's put into a game context, gives you a very clear idea of whether you're being successful at it or not.
Yeah.
Or in this case, it's probably how you perceive your achievements, how you perceive like what you've purchased, and what the rate of cookies per second you're getting.
Yeah, it's a score system. Anything with a score system could become
It automatically
inevitably.
adds a
Yeah,
sense of
definitely.
fun.
I agree. I think what made this game
disagree.
even disagree. Go on, the test.
Well, that's saying that just because something has a score system, it becomes fun. That's like, I mean, like I can't think of a parallel. I'm trying to think of a parallel and I can't. But it's just a bit weird. Like, oh, I've got more potatoes than you. Oh, then it's fun. It's just a bit like it's just a bit weirdly competitive over nothing.
See, that's,
Do
I
you
think
remember that
that's what
episode of The
helps it.
Simpsons where Mr. Skinner has Bart lick a bunch of envelopes?
Yes.
Possibly. I don't really remember it very well.
And then he goes, yeah, turn it into a game. See how many envelopes you can lick in 1 hour, and then test time, and then try and beat your record.
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, I have to make a confession when you've said that. No. As a music teacher, it's one of the tools. It is a tool that I use to kind of go, oh yeah, well, you know, see how well you can do it the next time you do it. So I suppose in that sense, yeah, I have to agree with you on that.
You know, I think there's other games where, you know, you mentioned, so I've got more potatoes than you. I see it, but like, you know, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater kind of games where I've got more points than you or something. It's okay. There is a process to getting the cookies or getting the game.
There's a bit more skill involved. I think.
Yeah, it's a skill-based.
I'll tell you what. I
Skill-based.
think the thing about Cookie Clicker is I find it mindless, and I think that's my big gripe with it. It's not the points. It's not that. I just think it's a bit mindless.
I tell you now, I think
You're wrong.
there is a thought to this game, and I
And
have
it's
to
clicking
say,
cookies.
no, it's not, because there is like I've actually just read just like within the last half an hour about how guys actually put a bit of code in on the game so that when a certain factual mine comes up, it actually gives you an indication whether that's a profitable purchase, as in giving you the cookies per second. It's actually there is actually some kind of like technical skill to this game, because it is a bit kind of numbers. It's a bit like Football Manager in a way, you know, trying to see what the value of buying something is, because the newest game at the moment, there is the kind of element of the increasing price of each building you buy. So there is a kind of like struggle against it, as if, do I buy this part or do I wait later on and buy an extra buy a shipment so that I can get more cookies, you see?
Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, go ahead, it's fine.
The big trade-off I always have to play around with is, do I buy the most expensive item on the list, or do I buy a bunch of the smaller items on the list, which then provide me with an upgrade to make that item all the more better? So I could buy the time machine, which costs like billions, or I could buy 100 clickers and potentially get upgrades on it that will make it much more efficient. So it's kind of like a weird business numbers game that you're kind of thinking.
I get you, but it's cookies, non-existent cookies. I think maybe I'm just not using my imagination. I don't know.
But imagine if you made like a business simulation game or an investment game.
That sounds like the funnest thing ever.
But like there are games where like you can like invest in things and play around with stuff like that.
True.
You know? So like I feel like that game mechanic exists within Cookie Clicker, and you know it's something that you enjoy. But like obviously it means that you might have to wait a bit, because like after a while you don't need to click unless you've got a macro like me, which you can if you want to.
Well, can I bring into this Euro Truck Sim? You can eventually build up your company whereby you just send your staff out to do all the work for you.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's
wow.
an interesting argument.
Isn't that the same thing? In
Yeah,
essence?
that's a great
That's a very good parallel, actually.
Yeah, definitely.
I have nothing to say to that. Just like mainly because I've seen you guys play Euro Truck Sim and I still haven't tried it yet, and I want to.
It's so good. But it is genuinely amazing game.
But as Jess, you might think, like there's obviously there's more thinking to do in Euro Truck Simulator. You've actually got to get from A to B, and you want to, make sure you don't crash. You got to be wary of other drivers, and you got to make sure.
You see, no, I see your argument, and I can see the parallels 100%. But when you add things like, oh well, you've got to make sure you don't crash and all that kind of stuff, That's not there. I've still got
Yeah,
it
that
running.
part isn't there in Cookie Clicker.
No, I don't mean crashing specifically. I just mean like those kind of things. Like there aren't really any setbacks that you can avoid necessarily. Not that I know of, admittedly.
There aren't major setbacks. There are a bit. We get to the end where you get these. When you start off, you get golden cookies where you click on, you get loads of buffs. But there's a point where you do eventually get red cookies, which could give you minus cookies and stuff.
And reduce your cookie production for a temporary time.
Yeah, and things
Right.
like that.
Okay.
It would be safe to say to go into spoiler territory if we talk about the.
Are we going to continue and give a spoiler alert, or this conversation could be very short, really?
Yeah.
So here is your official spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert for Cookie Clicker.
So
Never thought
another
I'd say
part to
that.
bring up is the Grandma Apocalypse.
Yeah,
Apocalypse, huge storyline in this game.
yeah. Grandma Apocalypse is a big part of it. It's, I would say, being honest, it's okay. It is a kind of semi-story. It's not the biggest plot twist in the world ever. But it does kind of give the game a little bit of a story, kind of keeps you going and seeing what happens, what changes. So the grandmas themselves, they actually morph. So when you actually buy more and more of the upgrades, the grandmas turn into kind of like symbiont beings and kind of change drawings. It's really scary. And the background to the Cookie Clicker game kind of changed to this eerie grandma
Phallic.
shit.
Is that the one that said, yeah, Jess?
Yeah, it looks a bit like a
exclaimed
penis.
Yes.
I'm not going to lie.
Fair enough.
Jess, understand, Jess, we're male, we're terrified of penises. To us, that's the most terrifying thing in the
Trips to the
world.
toilet must be awful for you guys. Do you know what I mean? Oh my god, what is it?
Yeah.
If
It's
evolution
a
didn't show
grandma.
that men were afraid of their own penises, our heads would be right next to it.
But I mean, but is that just a gimmick to keep people interested?
Of course it is.
Well, there you go.
But
It's
then
you
again,
just agreed with me.
Then again, what else is not a gimmick to keep
Exactly.
someone interested?
Yeah,
You know,
It's not a bad thing.
I understand that this game seems like a process. It seems like an inevitable, long process that leads to nothing. But in short of things,
isn't that video games?
isn't that just
Isn't
general?
that just video games in general? Yeah, I suppose. I mean, but the thing is, I mean, like, for example, I mean, like, games like, I mean, Bioshock Infinite, well, you could say it that way, and obviously, and it's like reading a good book as well. You sort of read it, and then it's over, and it doesn't exist in your life anymore. But by the same token, I think with that kind of thing, you leave with a sense of, like, that was really good. Like, that was so in-depth, and it was brilliant.
Yeah.
Whereas at the moment, and I have to admit, I'm not going to continue playing it. I might just sit there and wait for it just to do the job itself. But but what I'm saying is, at the end of that, what I've really done is just clicked on cookies.
What I think a good point that you brought up was that is like you said you'd let it wait. I think that's a part that we've all taken part in, is just being passive with it, letting it run, letting it accumulate cookies without us needing to click on it, and then coming back to it and making the business decisions. Like again, like I don't want to try and bring this back into being a business simulation, but I'm going to do it anyway.
I'm doing it anyway.
You're not helping
Yeah.
on point there.
You're working a lot, right? You work a lot, and then you earn enough resources to buy something to do something for you. And then as it makes stuff for you, you can continue working, and then ultimately buy something else to make it do something for you. So like essentially you're hiring employees.
Right,
And then,
okay,
and then
guys.
eventually the amount of employees and things you're buying and resources you're buying to help make you a bit more efficient, you realise that you probably don't need to do as much work anymore.
I just got
And
a
you can
golden
take a
cookie.
step back.
I just got a golden cookie, and I have to admit I was a little bit excited.
See, beautiful endorphins.
I'm turning into a crack addict.
You're hearing it here live, folks.
It's happening before your ears. I have to admit, I went, ooh, what's that? It's a golden cookie.
I love the fact we've captured Jess's turning into liking the game on there.
No, I never said anything about liking it. I'm just talking about the fact that I can understand, like, things like that. I can understand how they sort of keep you interested in something that is really quite banal.
And then you can bring in upgrades for those golden cookies so they appear twice as often.
Twice more excitement. Because I've just got it running as I'm chatting, because I'm just sort of watching it happen, and I have to say it's pretty boring. I'm not really feeling much, but the golden cookie stirred some emotion in me.
Yeah, and so what you were saying about being passive, I think it's true with all of us, that we've just let it run.
Yeah.
Just left it to one side while we did other things at the same
But
time.
how many other games do that? I mean, like, I think... I'm not sure I like the idea that sort of plays itself. Because that's not... It's not really a game then, really, is it? It's just something that's running in the background. I think that's another point I really have to be quite stern on, really. It's the fact that it's sort of just... It's playing itself, you're not playing it. It's like... Sorry, I'm just saying, I've just suddenly just realised, it's like if I left my little brother with my Lego or something like that, and I've gone, alright, yeah, and I really want to build it, and I come back, it's all done for me.
The parallels I draw to that is a lot of games now, a lot of like iPad games and some social games, things like Simpsons Tapped Out. Have you played that?
No, I haven't. Again, same
principle.
Same
I know one of the BFVG group plays like a couple of these games, and so essentially you're empire building. But the thing is what you do is you build different parts of your empire. Some things take time, like so in this case we're waiting for a certain amount of cookies until we can purchase another high price item. So essentially what you're doing is letting the game run itself, so you can then go purchase that item, make your efficiency so much better. And that happens in Simpsons Tapped Out. That happens in like that Jurassic Park game. There's a lot of games there's a lot of Facebook games that'll do that. I mean, say the thing with like, in a way, it's kind of like a real-time Farmville.
Yeah, it's that, of course.
Because essentially you're building produce, you're eventually expanding out, making something more efficient, and then you leave it until it's time to collect the harvest or water the plants or whatever you want to do. So that's another way we consider Cookie Clicker. But I think what Cookie Clicker has over Farmville and Simpsons Tapped Out is that it has those little dumb things along the top telling you like really stupid things about your status.
Yeah, that kind of gives it a bit of life. That gives it a bit of life, like a bit of personality, as it were.
And the Grandma Apocalypse.
My cookies now have their own website, apparently.
Exactly.
There you go. Exactly.
A
young website, a lot like BFVG.
BFVG. BFVG.co.uk, folks. Yeah.
That's the one. I've heard of that.
I heard a real genius made that one.
Good plot. Definitely.
Can I say, right, I think the thing for me that made this game so amazing is it was the fact that all four of us discovered this at exactly the same time.
Yeah.
And it just became
on behalf
this...
of my boyfriend. Thanks so
much.
much.
Yeah, and the fact that we just sit here, we were sitting here, I think it was like 2 a.m.
3 a.m.
It was quite late.
It was quite late.
It was 3 a.m. because I was woken later at 3 a.m. being disturbed when this thing climbed into bed going, I got cookies, kind of thing.
Oh god.
Just playing Cookie Clicker till 3 o'clock in the morning.
Pokemon just snuck into Jess's house overnight.
It's a cookie monster.
Away with Jess. Disturbing.
Well, that's a big part of it. I think.
The friend.
If us as individuals probably saw it on our own accord and we're in like some kind of social vacuum,
yeah,
we probably would have given it a bit of time and stopped.
Yeah, like I'm enjoying it right now because myself and another friend of ours, Alex. I don't know what he just.
He's the only one brave enough to use his own name.
He hasn't got
he
said the Ginger Maestro.
And we're just having a casual chat about this game and trying to outdo each other on CPS at the moment.
A general mild pissing contest.
Yes, a general mild pissing contest. Which I've got to say, at the moment, I've done something which, I don't know, maybe is quite stupid, but I've recently read what you can do is, I've actually done a soft reset, which basically...
That sounds pornographic. What is that?
I've started from afresh. I've had, literally, at the start of this blog, I've had no cookies, and I had to start right from the start. But what happens is I keep all the achievements, and there's a thing where you get a perk, which is a Heavenly Chips, which is a prestige. So basically I'm building up again. So I'm starting off, I've got about 34 grandmas and stuff. I've got a couple of shipments. But I eventually it will help me increase my CPS production later on. So it will halve my time getting the higher CPS when I get to the kind of half a billions kind of thing. So I've kind of done that at the moment. So hopefully I might be able to beat might be able to double Alex, but
So you saying you're prestiging like in Call of Duty? That's another feature and mechanic of cooking.
Oh right. So
Now, I have to ask a question. Is your competition based on how many cookies you are physically making or per second?
see, that's the thing. We play on CPS, so cookies per second. Also, this is not ridiculous. This is serious, goddamn. But then also, like,
Excuse me.
Also concentrated on my personal goal at the moment is achievements, really, because I'm 95% there and I need 5% more, but they're so
right, okay.
far away. It's quite ridiculous.
Yeah.
Not including shadow achievements on that as well, but yeah, the kind of aims vary. But at the moment, for me, it's basically CPS between me and Alex.
Right.
Oh,
Okay.
Jess, you know you can dunk the cookie.
I have
yeah.
heard about dunking the cookie.
If
Would
you
you like
dunk
to
the cookie,
explain
yeah.
it to me and
Basically,
our
you,
very few listeners?
But Jess needs to accumulate milk first.
Yeah.
Have you got
That
any
sounds
milk,
gross.
Jess,
I don't
underneath your
think I
cookie?
have.
In the game, that's not in real life.
I don't just bathe in milk. I like milk. What? How do I have to accumulate milk?
Just dip the laptop in the milk.
No,
And you'll be fine.
my laptop's already making horrible noises. I'm not going to put milk on it.
Have you got any milk underneath your cookie, Jess?
You see, if your laptop's making
Oh, I
horrible
have,
noises, that's
yes.
probably its joints.
I didn't
Did you
even
say-
look, but yes, I have got milk under my cookie.
Right. Basically, what you do
This
is
sounds
just,
really dirty. Carry on.
you grab the like bottom of the window or whatever, and just drag it up so you're minimising the size of your browser window, and then the cookie will physically go inside the milk, and that is,
Achievement.
that's an achievement.
Yeah,
I don't think I want an achievement for just. I see what you mean now. Ooh.
But tell me that's not genius.
Yeah. I'm afraid. I'm afraid, Dean. It's not genius, but it's quite clever.
There's a lot of nuances.
It's a fun little feature.
It's a little feature to run in the background while you
There's
play.
a lot of bits of fun in this wonderful.
But
Little...
I compare it to kind of Tetris, like in a way of in terms of storyline. Tetris don't have a storyline. This
Of
is just kind
course.
of something to the end. You just keep playing until either you get bored or you lose. But in this game, you don't really lose. You just create more cookies.
Guys, may I make a suggestion? Can we please each of us give this a game rating out of 10? Just out of curiosity.
I think it's. I think we may have to. But okay, well, that was part of the debate. Is this would you class this as a game? But I guess it seems
kind of
Jess
ran through it.
might be going back on herself if she disagreed with that statement.
I don't know. I mean, I can't deny that it is a game. There are elements of gameplay to it, or what traditionally, or at least in sort of the video game age that we're in now, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
If you comprise, what a video game comprises, like the score, achievements, features, little things like that, and I agree with that. But having said that, even if it is a game, I don't think it's a very good game.
Okay.
That's what I have to say about it. Really, I mean, it's not a game I would
Understandable.
really want to play because it's not. I wouldn't really call it playing. That's why I can't really say whether it's a game or not. I want to go away from saying it's a game because I just think if it plays itself, it's just a toy rather than a game.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay, I see.
I always thought games were toys.
Toys.
In a
No,
more advanced capacity.
I suppose. I mean, like, I suppose if you go into a supermarket, games are in the toy section, if you want to put it that way. But they're not anymore, actually. Thinking about it, they're in their own.
I see what you're
They're in
saying,
their own
Jess.
section. But you know what I mean? Like, you get
what
like
you're
executive toys. All you need to do, like that thing with the balls, balls.
Yeah.
That thing with the balls, and it just, and it's what is it? Something motion, repetitive motion. It's whatever it is, infinite motion or whatever it is.
Perpetual mode.
Perpetual, thank you. Perpetual motion. Those perpetual motion toys. It's almost like that. Do you know what I mean? All you need to do is press one thing, and then it sets itself going, and that's all it does. And it just sits on a desk, and it just does that.
But then I think once you have that going, is when you have to make the decisions to make your purchases for the other parts, and then leave that going. So I think because like obviously setting that ball clacker going there's no yeah.
We're so mature.
There's no means to an end. Whereas letting the cookies go, there is a means to an end of producing another building and then producing more cookies per second.
Yeah, but what's the end of that?
To eventually get better cookies per second, to eventually get all the achievements,
to get
I think we're going around in circles here, but I think this is a good place to maybe wind it up.
There is a game which like has even less kind of like mechanically like, have you heard of Proteus?
I have heard of it, yes. But
I mean, that's pretty much you just kind of walking around and like just observing this island and nature. And that's kind of it, really. I mean, like time moves forward, but technically there is a story happening somewhere, but you don't need to see any of that. You can do whatever you like on this island, and it kind of like, there's even less game mechanics in that. A lot of people have argued that that's not a game. But I think when you bring in video games, I think it like, do you want to create a separate thing called like interactive mediums that are things that don't have a point score, or a way of success or failure, or a way to be competitively better than another person? And does that attribute it to being a video game or a piece of interactive entertainment?
Yeah, it's entertainment. It's entertainment, isn't it? Like anything.
I think it's entertainment.
It's a casual. It's a casual game. It's a casual game, isn't it?
Very casual game. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so if we rate this out of 10, then
Yeah, I like that idea.
we're going to start with Dean. Let's start with Dean.
Out of 10.
Out of 10.
10 being the best, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Oh, they made that clear. I think my answer.
Oh no, I'm working on base 10.
Yeah. Base 10.
I'd almost certainly give this a 7. I would. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Jess?
Probably a 4. Which is probably higher than you
Okay.
thought I'd give it.
Oh, that is.
That's surprising. I think. How would you have rated it? Say previous to today.
Previous. I actually don't think I would have, because it wouldn't have been fair.
Okay.
Because I'm not
Okay.
like that.
Well, okay.
I don't know.
I'm an honourable person like that.
Bearing in mind, the honourable person, the night we started playing it,
I just walked off.
described us all as idiots and walked out the room.
I mean, I didn't call you idiots.
You called us something.
I didn't call you anything. I said the game was stupid, and then I walked out.
Okay,
I didn't call
okay.
you idiots. I didn't approve of the game, and I still don't really. I mean, obviously, 4's not a great score. It's just, like I say, I can sort of appreciate that it has entertaining elements, but I wouldn't really class it as a very involved game. Really, there's not. It's a very repetitive, mindless thing, and that's
Fair
why I
enough.
give it a 4.
Okay.
Arjun?
6.
6. That's good. I'm going to go with 7.5. I would say recently
0.5.
0.5. I was hoping for the 0.5. Yeah, I'm going to say I do enjoy it. It's quite silly. Okay, because of this soft reset recently, it's added the 0.5, I have to say, because there was another level which I didn't realise, and especially because I'm playing with Alex against him, it's giving me kind of a spur on to play this game, and it is silly, but I quite enjoy it. It's really funny, I think, especially with the news and reading up all about it with all the people. It's quite funny, and I do enjoy it, especially the Wikipedia. I'd recommend reading it just to see how silly you have to go to talk about raspberry milk and what was it, worker grandmas and 1,000 fingers. It's ridiculous, but I just think it's hilarious. It's quite good fun. I think there are far more boringer games out there that trying to be. I think it's just a stupid game, but it's fun, and I think there's other games need to be more like that. There's a lot of games which try and be far too serious, I think, and end up just being kind of far too much like a process in themselves, because it's all about being, the story. I don't know. I can't really.
I think, Yogs, you need to play Saints Row 4. By the sounds of it, if you want a game that's
Saints Row.
Yeah.
Play
nonsensical.
more of it.
I think more. But yeah, if Saints Row 4 get away with having a large dildo connected to a bat. Flicking the cookies.
I think the bigger thing is having like Hulk fist, that when you punch someone they turn into a
Yeah.
mist of blood. I think that's even better.
Or an activity where it involves you going around with a fertilizer van and spraying buildings full of poo.
Can I say, guys, while we've all been talking, I've managed to add those 4 numbers up together, right? It took a long time. But basically, BFVG have officially given this game 24.5 out of 40. Or if 1 out of 10 score,
so we're kind of giving it like a Famitsu review.
it's 6.125 out of 10, when you get precise.
Ah,
There you go.
Nice.
It's the official score for Cookie Clicker.
Yes, bringing down averages since 1985.
Accurately predicting what everyone's going to think.
That was a good chat, guys. I think it's probably about time we probably wrapped it up. Maybe.
I think so, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so that was our first ever podcast, guys. Way!
Yay! Friends.
Bye.
Bye, podcasting community. Bye.